Imagine visiting a park where you can see real dinosaurs. At first, it sounds like the most incredible experience in the world. You see enormous creatures moving through a beautiful landscape. And you realize that these animals disappeared millions of years ago? But then you start asking yourself, what happens if something goes wrong?
That is what makes Jurassic Park so fascinating. The idea is exciting, but it is also dangerous because humans have created something they cannot completely control. At first, everyone is amazed by the dinosaurs. Then they begin to understand how powerful and unpredictable these animals really are.
A useful expression here is, I can't believe my eyes. We use it when something is so surprising that it is difficult to believe. What we are seeing? Imagine a dinosaur standing right in front of you. You could look at your friend and say, I can't believe my eyes. Is that really a dinosaur?
And you can use this expression in everyday life too. Maybe you meet someone you have not seen for 20 years, or you see an incredible view for the first time. You might say, I can't believe my eyes. It shows strong surprise and sounds very natural in conversation.
But after the excitement, another question becomes important. Is this safe? We use this when we are not sure whether something could be dangerous. In Jurassic Park, the visitors slowly realize that the dinosaurs are not ordinary animals in a zoo. They are powerful creatures, and the situation can change very quickly.
I would probably ask, are you sure this is safe? Many times. You can use this phrase outside the movie too. If your friend wants to climb a dangerous mountain or try something risky, you can ask, are you sure this is safe? It is simple, but very useful.
Another important expression is something is wrong. You use it when you know that a situation is not normal. Even if you do not know the exact problem, your car might make a strange noise, your computer might stop working, or someone might suddenly disappear. You can simply say, something is wrong.
In Jurassic Park, the characters slowly get that feeling. The systems do not work as expected. The animals are no longer completely under control, and the visitors realize they may be in serious danger. At that point, they need to stop thinking like tourists and start thinking about staying safe.
That brings us to another useful phrase. Stay calm. It means do not panic. We can use it before an exam, an interview, or any stressful situation. A friend might say, stay calm. You know what to do? It is simple English, but extremely useful.
Of course, staying calm is much harder when a dinosaur is nearby, but the idea is still important. When you panic, it becomes harder to think clearly. When you stay calm, you have a better chance of making a good decision, even when the situation is difficult.
We can also learn different words for fear. Nervous is often used before something important, like an exam or interview. Scared is stronger, and usually means you're afraid because something seems dangerous. And worried means you're thinking about a problem and expecting that something bad might happen.
That difference is useful in real conversations. You can be nervous before an English test, scared when something dangerous is happening, and worried when a friend is missing. These small differences help you describe your feelings more naturally.
Another useful phrase is, how are we going to get out? It is a natural way to ask how you can escape from a difficult situation. You can also use the same structure in everyday life. How are we going to get home? Or how are we going to solve this problem?
That is one of the best things about learning English through movies. You hear useful expressions inside a story, so you remember them more easily. Instead of memorizing a list of vocabulary, you connect the words with a situation, an emotion, and a picture in your mind.
So when you listen to this lesson, do not worry about understanding every word immediately. First, focus on the story and the main idea. Then listen again and notice the useful expressions. Pause when you hear something interesting and repeat it aloud, trying to copy the rhythm.
And remember, simple English can be powerful. You do not need complicated vocabulary to communicate clearly. Something is wrong. Stay calm. Are you sure this is safe? How are we going to get out? These phrases are easy to remember and useful in many real conversations.
Jurassic Park is not only a story about dinosaurs, it can also help you learn how to describe surprise, fear, danger, and uncertainty in English. Listen again, repeat the expressions, and try to create your own examples.
And if you ever visit a park full of dinosaurs, Enjoy the experience, stay calm, and make absolutely sure you know where the exit is. Preferably, keep the dinosaurs on the other side of the fence.
Now imagine that the situation has become much more serious. The park is no longer under control. The visitors are separated, and nobody knows exactly where the dinosaurs are. At this point, the characters have to stop, enjoying the experience and start thinking about how to survive.
I think that is when I would completely forget about the exciting tour and start looking for the nearest exit. When you are in a dangerous situation, you need to make decisions quickly. You cannot spend 10 minutes discussing every possible option while something dangerous is coming toward you.
One very useful phrase here is, "Look out!" It is a quick warning that means someone needs to be careful immediately. For example, if you see a car coming toward your friend, you can shout, "Look out!" It is short, natural, and very common in real conversations.
Movies use expressions like this all the time because people do not have time for long sentences during an emergency. They might say, "Wait for me," "Don't move," "Come here," or "Get out of the way." These expressions are simple, but they are excellent for English learners because you can use them in many everyday situations.
Another useful question is, did you hear that? Imagine you are walking through a dark forest and suddenly hear a strange noise. You do not know what made it, so you look at your friend and ask, "Did you hear that?" Then you both stop and listen carefully.
And if your friend says yes, you can ask, "What was that?" or "Where did it come from?" These questions are very natural. You do not need complicated vocabulary to react to something unexpected. Simple questions can help you communicate quickly and clearly.
There is also an important difference between "I'm scared" and "I'm worried." If you are scared, you feel afraid because you think something dangerous is happening right now. If you are worried, you are thinking about a problem and you are afraid that something bad might happen later.
For example, if a dinosaur is standing outside your car, you are probably scared. But if your friend has disappeared and you do not know where they are, you might say, "I'm worried about my friend." Knowing this difference helps you describe your feelings more naturally.
Another useful question is, where is everyone? It is exactly what you might say when you suddenly realize that the people who were with you are no longer there. In a dangerous situation, this simple question can become very important.
I can imagine that happening in Jurassic Park. You look around, your group is gone, and then you hear something moving in the trees. I would probably say, "Where is everyone?" and then immediately add, "We need to leave." At that point, I would not be interested in exploring anymore.
"We need to leave" is another expression worth remembering. It clearly shows that something is urgent. You can also say, "We need to find a way out," which means you need to find a safe way to escape from a difficult situation.
And this phrase is useful outside the movie too. Imagine you are in a city you do not know. It is getting late, and you cannot find your hotel. You might say, "We need to find a way out of here." The situation is completely different from Jurassic Park, but the English still works perfectly.
This is why learning English through stories can be so effective. You remember a phrase because you remember what was happening when you heard it. Instead of learning isolated vocabulary, you connect the language with a situation, an emotion, and a picture in your mind.
So when you listen to this lesson again, try 3 steps. First, listen normally and focus on the story. Second, listen again and notice the useful expressions. Third, pause after important sentences and repeat them aloud. Try to copy the rhythm, not only the individual words.
You can also change the examples and make them your own. Instead of saying, "We need to leave the park," say, "We need to leave the office," instead of, "Are you sure this is safe?" You could ask, "Are you sure this is the right way?" This helps you move from understanding English to actually using it.
And there is one final phrase every Jurassic Park visitor would probably want to say. "I think we're safe." Imagine finally reaching a locked room, closing the door, and hearing nothing outside. You look at your friend and say, "I think we're safe."
So, remember today's expressions. Look out! Did you hear that? What was that? We need to leave and we need to find a way out. They are simple phrases, but they can't make your English sound much more natural.
Same here. If I heard even one strange sound outside the door, I would immediately say, I don't think we're safe. Listen to them again, repeat them aloud, and create your own examples. The more you hear natural English in context, the easier it becomes to understand real conversations.
And if you ever visit Jurassic Park, remember one final rule: enjoy the dinosaurs from a very safe distance.
Preferably from another continent.